Hello, this is Basic Electronics Engineering. The course code is EC201. The contact hour is 3 lecture classes. The total contact hour is 36 hours. The credit point of this subject is 3. Myself, Dr. Indranath Sarkar. I am the Associate Professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering of GIS College of Engineering, Kolladi. This course has 4 number of outcomes. We expect the students will be at the end of the course the student will be able to demonstrate PN junction diode, ideal diode, diode models and its circuit analysis, application of diode and special diodes. The student also will be explained how operational amplifiers are modeled and analyzed, and to design operational amplifier circuits to perform operations such as integration, differentiation on electronic signals. The students must analyze the concept of both positive and negative feedback in electronic circuits and its applications. The student must develop the capability to analyze and design simple circuits containing nonlinear elements such as transistors using the concept of load lines, operating points and the incremental analysis. This course is comprised of 6 number of modules. Each module has the number of class limited, that is 5 number of class assigned to module 1 on basic semiconductors, 7 contact hour assigned to module 2 on PN junction diode and its applications. Module 3 has 8 contact hour on bipolar junction transistor. Module 4 has field effect transistor to describe within 6 contact hour. 8 contact hour assigned to module 5 where feedback and operational amplifier will be discussed, and the 2 contact hour assigned to module 6 where the cathode ray oscilloscope will be discussed. This is the prerequisite required for basic electronics engineering. Normally prerequisites are essential to understand a certain course. In this case, as the students are entering after class 12 into BTech courses and the basic electronics engineering is studied in the first year, so here we expect the basic course of electronics engineering progress from the fundamentals of electricity, direct current, devices and circuits, series and parallel circuits, to the study of active and passive components, Ohm's law, Kirchhoff's law, that is Kirchhoff's voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law, as well as Ampere's law. In the modern electronics part of the physics in the 10+2, all these items have been taught. So students should recapitulate these theory as well as mathematical formula before going to opt for basic electronics engineering. So therefore Kirchhoff's law, especially the Kirchhoff's voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law as well as Ampere's law, have plenty of applications in the design part of electronics devices, because basic electronics circuit is normally tells about the component description. That means there are several components exist in basic electronics engineering subject. All these components are defined, its characteristics defined, as well as the combination of such component may produce complex circuitry, and the categories of circuit and its input and output characteristics all have been defined. So basic electronics is an important subject. Here students are going through the description and characteristics of all these components, so that in future whenever they are interested about circuit realization, they shall recall about the characteristics they have studied in basic electronics engineering. And for this subject, the data sheet validation of each of these components are required to be carried out by the student, because some component whatever studied has limited features to be explained within the class, and there are detailed feature exists in the datasheet. If the student is interested to create some model, then student should deal with datasheet, the how to see the datasheet, and how what are the parametric values required to observe from the datasheet will be discussed in the class. So basic electronics engineering is one of the important subject for any engineering domain, because uh, nowadays there are many interdisciplinary projects are going on in which some electronic circuitry exists. So irrelevant of the department, electronic circuit may be applied to many issues. So that is why basic electronics has contribution about the basic characteristics understanding for those components. So students must give full attention about the characteristics as well as description, mathematical equation whenever discussed for each of the components. Now in the course outcome and program outcome mapping, we are seeing that there are 12 number of program outcomes which are mapped to the course outcome statements. So here, as 4 number of course outcome statement exist for basic electronics engineering, they are having different weightages assigned to each of the column of program outcomes. And here 3 depicts the high weightage assigned for a certain mapping, and 2 means the moderate linking, and 1 stands for the least linking. And when there is no link, it is kept vacant with a dash line. Now basic electronics is the foundation engineering subject, as well as it is the basic engineering subject. It has the uses of modern tools regarding the simulation of the circuits, as well as it has long-term relation to the student regarding the implementation of projects. So it's a lifelong learning weightage is very high, as well as various surrounding that is applications in the surrounding environment exist. That is why basic electronics engineering is mostly a foundation subject. That is why at the initial part of the program outcome 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has a great linkage with basic electronics, as well as program outcome 11 and 12 are also. So if we look at the modern tool uses, as well as the project initiative, as well as the foundation engineering concept, we are getting higher weightage for the basic electronics engineering with those program outcomes. And similarly, if we have some long target, that is after a long duration, we have a target to implement certain circuitry which is useful for the mankind. That type of target may be fulfilled, and that is lifelong learning has a great importance on basic electronics engineering, because we sometimes we have a future target of implementing any circuit or applications for the mankind. So that is why basic electronics are getting higher weightage in that part. The course has objective impart fundamental knowledge to understand the basic of semiconductor and components like diode, transistor, FET, MOSFET, and operational amplifier. It will be it would build mathematical and numerical background for design of electronic circuit and components value. Students equipped with the knowledge and training provided in the course will be able to participate in the design and development and operation in the different area of electronic systems. So therefore basic electronics has a widest domain of application, because it is dealing with the components which are required to implement electronic circuitry. So all the basic components are included regarding its description, input characteristics, output characteristics. So that is why whenever there is a project related work, basic electronics recalled. So that is why it has a long time application for students of any department, because in any department there is a project realization with electronic circuitry. For any domain, it involves the concept of various components of basic electronics. So therefore, this subject is truly important for any department. We are discussing operational amplifier under module 5. Today's topic are bias current, input offset voltage, output offset voltage, inverting or non-inverting amplifier, voltage follower, summing amplifier, and difference amplifier. So today we will continue with some parameters which has not been discussed for the operational amplifier, such as the bias current, the offset current, input offset voltage, output offset voltage, etc. In case of operational amplifier, though we are neglecting the current entering into op-amp, but there is a small amount of current which is entering. We know there is a differential amplifier stage at the beginning of the op-amp. So therefore, input is actually applied to the base terminal of the transistors of differential amplifier. So these are the input terminals. So therefore, the current entering is nothing but a base current. And we know the base current is of the order of microampere. So that is why these currents are negligible with reference to the other branch currents which are of the order of milliampere. So therefore here input bias current so this is nothing but the average base current which are entering into the op amp. And this is the input offset current, which is the difference of the two currents entering into the op amp. So it is the IB plus minus IB minus. So these are the physical quantity which is not actually zero or practically zero, but still exist, need to be nullified or need to be equalized. There is one of the current either larger and the other current is smaller because of the difference of the type of the transistor we have taken. If they are identical, then only this value will be zero. That is IB plus plus minus IB minus. This difference should be zero if the transistor used in the differential amplifier are identical. Now we will describe the inverting amplifier. There are two types of amplifier, inverting amplifier and non-inverting amplifier, depending on the input applied to the inverting terminal or it is applied to the non-inverting terminal. This circuit is known as the inverting amplifier because the input is applied to the inverting terminal through a resistance which is called the input resistance connected externally to the op-amp, and this is the feedback resistance which is taking fraction of the output voltage as current to the input side. And here one of the terminal is grounded, that is the non-inverting terminal is grounded. So as we already know, there's the difference voltage that is between these two terminals, there is a difference voltage VD, and this VD is almost zero. Though it is not practically zero, but it is almost zero. We can compare with other voltage. This VD is very small. That is why we can ignore. So ignorable voltage means it is a short circuit. So though it is not practically short circuit, but virtually this point is connected to this point. So therefore, what is happening? Whatever voltage is appearing here is also appearing here. So as it is grounded, so this voltage is also grounded. So that is why this terminal is known as the virtual short circuit or virtual ground. So therefore at this point if we take KCL, current entering here is 0. So therefore current entering to RF and current entering to this VI input voltage terminal are equal, or we can take their summation, not equal, their summation is equal to 0. So it is 0 minus VI So from this KCL, what we can write, V0 by Vi is equal to RF by R1 with negative sign. So this is known as the voltage gain of the inverting amplifier, or we can write it is the voltage gain AV of the inverting amplifier. So it is nothing but the ratio of RF to R1. So if RF is larger, then we are getting this quantity is greater than 1, but since there is a negative sign is there, so therefore it has a 180 degree phase shift. So that is phase while that is output voltage is 180 degree phase shift of input voltage. Now this is our non-inverting amplifier. In non-inverting amplifier, this point is grounded, and at the non-inverting terminal we have applied an input voltage. And again we can take this consideration, Vd is equal to 0. There is a difference between two terminal voltage is 0. So therefore as it is Vi, therefore this voltage is also Vi. Therefore if we write a KCL here, then Vi minus 0 by R1 is one current, another current is Vi minus V0 by RF. So these two current summations should be equal to 0. So after manipulation, you can get this equation V0 by Vi is equal to 1 plus RF by R1. Here output voltage is almost in phase with the input voltage, and this quantity shows the gain of the non-inverting amplifier. And this quantity is obviously more than 1 because here 1 plus something which is a positive quantity, this ratio is positive. If it is less than 1, still the overall quantity is more than 1. Therefore voltage gain of this non-inverting amplifier is more than 1. Now we will go to discuss about the offset voltages and input offset voltage and output offset voltage of op-amp. Now let us see the inverting amplifier circuit in which the input voltage has been removed and we have grounded this one. So if the input voltage is removed, though the biasing voltages exist, still the amount of current, that is IB minus and IB plus, are flowing into the op-amp. So this is the reason for which we need to consider some amount of voltage which is appearing at the output at the absence of the input applied. So this thing required to be nullified, because if there is a millions of op-amp, then such minute amount of voltage may contribute to large amount of voltage. So how to nullify this one? You see, this current which is entering into the inverting terminal is also flowing here, IB minus, from the output terminal. So therefore what is the output voltage? Since this is ground, this is also ground, therefore V0 we can write this is equal to Rf into Ib minus. So therefore V0 is equal to Rf into Ib minus means at this point we are getting some amount of voltage at the inverting terminal. So that has to be compensated by a compensator resistor connected at the non-inverting terminal. That means this should be nullified by this. So if we connect this, say this is equal to R comp. So compensatory resistor R comp is connected to the non-inverting terminal, provides almost equal voltage, that is so R comp is so adjusted that it is producing some amount of voltage which is equal in magnitude of this Rf into Ib minus. So that is why R comp plays an important role connected here to nullify or to equalize the two terminal voltages. So then only our difference voltage will be 0. So therefore this is known as our output offset voltage. Now let us consider this connection. Here what we have done, the two number of input terminals are grounded. So at that time, what should be our V0? Though the bias voltages, that is positive bias, negative bias exist, our V0 should be equal to 0. But practically, we are getting some amount of voltage present at the output terminal. Why we are getting output terminal voltage? Because it is the open loop operation and the difference voltage, if exists, that will be amplified at the output. So here difference voltage exists at the absence of any input applied. So how to nullify those difference voltage? We need to connect here a voltage source which is known as input offset voltage, and by adjustment of this voltage only we can provide V0 equal to 0. So input offset voltage is certain amount of input voltage to be provided at the input terminal. At absence of external input, the output should be 0. So therefore this is known as our input offset voltage. This circuit is known as voltage follower circuit. Voltage follower means, as the name is given, that output voltage follows the input voltage. That means there is no change in shape and frequency of the input voltage to the output voltage. So as the input voltage is not changing, the similar voltage you are getting at the output. So why the need for voltage follower to be constructed? It is required because sometimes your output load may be sensitive. So at that time what is happening, if there is any fluctuation of input voltage beyond some abnormal condition, it will destroy the output load. So that is why, to protect that output load which is a sensitive, this intermediate amplifier or buffer, this is also known as buffer, voltage follower or buffer circuit. So due to abnormal fluctuation of the input, this buffer circuit will be destroyed, but the load will not be hampered, or no malfunction will be applied on the load. So what is happening here, as we discussed, Vd, this is almost equal to 0. So therefore whatever is the input voltage, that is short circuited to this terminal, and that is also appearing at the output. So V0 here is almost equal to Vi. So this is the purpose of voltage follower circuit. Now next we will move on to some other important circuit which are called summing amplifier. So this is known as inverting summing amplifier, as the inputs are two number of voltage V1 and V2 which are applied to the inverting terminal. And remember, this is the common point. There are two resistors at the input side, and what is the voltage here? It is almost 0 volt because no current is flowing ideally. So therefore this voltage is also ground. So if we write a KCL at this point, so what you can get? V1 minus 0 by R, V2 minus 0 by R is also another one, V0 minus 0 by RF. So therefore it is V1 minus 0 by R plus V2 minus 0 by R plus V0 minus 0 by RF, that is equal to 0. So therefore what we can write here, V0 by RF is equal to minus 1 by R into V1 plus V2. So therefore your V0, in the next line what we can write, this RF will go here. So in the next line what we can change, V0 is equal to, here we can write RF by R. Now if RF is equal to R, what we can write, it is equal to minus of V1 plus V2. So this is known as the inverting summing amplifier, where the output is the summation of the two inputs with negative polarity. The similar circuit we can draw if input is connected to the non-inverting terminal, then it is called non-inverting summing amplifier. You can carry out the non-inverting summing amplifier. It is a very simple circuit. You can connect the input to the non-inverting terminal and find out what will be the equivalent output. Now we will go to the discussion of difference amplifier. So here our target is to produce the output is equal to the difference of the two input applied. So one is applied to the non-inverting terminal, another is applied to the inverting terminal. So here how to calculate? What will be the voltage intermediate here? Say it is V. So if it is V voltage, then V could be written as V1 divided by the total resistance, that is the total current flowing here, because no current is flowing into the op amp, that is this is equal to 0. Current entering to the non-inverting terminal if 0, due to applied V1, total current is flowing down through R2. So therefore V can be written as so if V is given this, so this is also V, as it is virtually short circuit because the difference voltage we know is 0. So if it is V, we can write easily a KCL here. So the KCL gives so this equation will give us the final solution, and you have to replace this one here. So I am rubbing out this thing. So we can replace this thing here. Then what we are getting? This equal to V0 by R2 plus V2 by R1.
So up to this, it is clear because this V2 by R1 could be taken on the left hand side. Now what is our V0? If we take R2 equal to R1, then V0 is the difference between V1 and V2. So using difference amplifier, what we established, the output voltage is nothing but the difference between the two input voltage provided all the resistances are same. So this is all about the discussion of operational amplifier. Next we will discuss about the some other circuits using operational amplifier as well as examples in the next video.